Everyone, thanks for joining today's coffee talk. My name is David. I'm a computer engineer here at Dom Daniel. And today I will be talking about Azure Cognitive Search. So let's get started. Just before we get started, don't hesitate and go and subscribe to our Dom Daniel Facebook and other social media channels, so you don't miss out our news and other coffee talks. So we already talked about Azure Video Indexer, which is one of the Azure Applied AI services. So today's hero is Azure Cognitive Search, and this tool provides AI-enhanced cloud search capabilities for your web and mobile application and any applications, or you can use your search in REST API format. There are other Azure Applied AI services which we might talk about during next coffee talks, like Azure Bot Service, Azure Form Recognizer, Azure Metrics Divisor, and Azure Immersive Reader. Azure Immersive Reader is integrated in Edge browser, and it's a very good tool for students like me who want to read huge amounts of text in a short time. So let's understand why people need search. Everybody needs a better search. With unstructured data, businesses want to gather as much information from their data as much as possible. And this comes in forms of images and PDFs and receives. And you want to get as much information from them. And sometimes it's hard to manage because you need to create like OCR services yourself, or you have documents in different languages, which is very hard to maintain. Also, your users want to get a good search experience as well. They want suggestions and filters, and everything here is provided by Azure Cognitive Search. Azure Cognitive Search is an AI-powered platform as a service, or as Microsoft calls it, search as a service, that helps developers to build powerful search functionality inside their apps and websites. So the pattern is that you take data in any format, you ingest it, you enrich this data, like use OCR or other skills, other cognitive skills, and then you explore and build upon this data. So as a source, it can be SQL database, SQL server inside your VM, Cosmos DB, a blob storage, even SharePoint Online, which is in preview. And these files can be like PDF, docx, JPEG, or you can even go ahead and use a JSON file format. And what is called, you take these documents and you crack and enrich this information. Like you get text and images data and metadata, like location data from images. And using this data, you go ahead and with cognitive skills, you extract key phrases, location. You can also translate this information with 50 plus languages, like from English to Swedish, or Swedish to English, which I'm going to show you today in demonstration. You can extract key people in the documents, some important faces or celebrities, and handwritten text. So, and all this goes into searchable index where you can extract this information using REST API JSON format, and you basically can build upon this. So this product is provided for free, but there are other tools, other services that needs to be used in conjunction with search. For example, the blob storage, which is already paid according to Microsoft. So let's move to our demonstration, and I will show you my data first. So I have my search data here. I have 3 files. Let me make this a little bigger. I have 3 files. 2 of them are Word files, and one is a Microsoft picture called Microsoft, which is a screenshot of Microsoft's Surface store. Here you go. You can see different computers here. And 2 files. One is about Armenia. Here, this one is in English. And another is about Sweden. This one is in Swedish. So let's go ahead into Portal and see how we can use this data and use our search capabilities to get more information out of this data. So first, when you go to your Microsoft Azure portal, you want to create a cognitive search service, search. Let's create a resource at the top left corner and write cognitive search here. Click on Azure Cognitive Search and click Create. Here you need to create a resource group. Let's name it a Coffee Talk. Search service. Go ahead and name your service here. I'm gonna go ahead and call it Coffee Talk. Yeah, Coffee Talk search service, like this. And choose a location here. I'm gonna go ahead with West Europe because it's closest to me. And for the next, we need to choose a price tier. As I said, it's free tier is available here. Free offering is available, but to make sure our demonstration is as smooth as possible, I'm going to choose the basic offering. And I suggest you, if you're going to use this with a lot of data, you better go with a more expansive offering. And because you have more partitions and replicas, this means faster and smoother search for you and your customers. So let's go next to scale. As I said, I'm not going to use replicas nor partitions, but I said you can go ahead and increase them if you want more availability or speed. Next is networking. I'm going to use the public networking here because we don't want to complicate things, and this is for demonstration purposes. And next, I'm going to go and review and create. Let's wait for validation. I have already done this. I have created the service, but we'll still go and create. This is going to take 2 seconds. And next, we need a blob storage. To do that, we go to storage accounts and create a storage account here. I will say what you need to do from this part, so we don't need to create it from zero because it takes some time. But I will say what you need to do. I would go ahead and choose a resource group that we have already made. So I think this one was it. Yeah. So you need to name your account. This should be unique name. So Coffee Talk Demo. And go ahead with West Europe. It's somewhere here. Yes. You can also choose the redundancy. We don't need a good redundancy here. I'm just going to go locally redundant. And for advanced, we just need to go and choose an access tier to be hot because we need to access this data as fast as possible. I recommend you to go with hot tier, but if you are going to use this very rarely for archive purposes, you can go with cool, but it will be costly for you. So other than this, you can go and disable the soft delete for blobs. I don't need them. If you need them, and this is basically makes harder to delete your information that you saved in blob storage, you can go and enable them. And other than that, you can go and review and create this. I'm not going to use this one, but basically we're going to upload this information, these files that I showed you, to blob storage. Next, we're going to go to Cognitive Search and go to our Cognitive Search resource. As you can see, we don't have any indexes or indexers. So first you want to import data to this Cognitive Search resource. You need to click Import Data. And here you can choose, for example, sample. As you can see, here we have already some samples provided by Microsoft, like hotel sample and real estate US sample. But because we're going to use blob storage, I'm going to choose Azure Blob Storage. And here you can name your storage however you want. I use ChatGPT to create Armenian and Swedish documents. So I'm going to name it as AI source or AI data source. Here you can choose what you want to extract from these files. So data to extract, you can choose content and metadata or all metadata or storage metadata only. I'm going to go ahead with content and metadata. And parsing mode, if you're going to use only JSON files, if you're going to have only JSON files, you can go ahead and choose JSON. Or if you're going to only have text, you can choose text. But I have different kinds of data here, like image. So I'm going to go with default. Here you need a connection string. I'm going to go ahead and choose our existing connection here because I created storage. Here I have my AI gen, which includes that data. And let's go ahead. As you can see, our container name is already here. If you have another folder, you can go ahead and put your folder here. And if you want to put description, you can do that as well. For now, we are just going to move on to adding cognitive skills. This is optional, but this is where Azure Cognitive Search really shows its powers. So let's go ahead. As you can see, index schema detected. So what you can see here, you need to attach cognitive services here. So you can go ahead with the free one. As I said, free tier is always an option. But if you want to get maximum out of the service, you better go and create a cognitive search service resource. You can do that by clicking here. And it will pop up in a new window. And let's go with Coffee Talk search service with West Europe, as I showed you before, and a good name. I'm just going to copy this name. For the pricing tiers, there's only one option, and you need to check this box to acknowledge that you have read and understood the terms. Terms are this, like responsible AI notice. Let's go ahead and review and create. Click create. And it's going to take a few seconds. As I said, I already did that, and I have a cognitive service here. I'm just going to choose one of this and go ahead and add enrichments. So here's where you can add an OCR capability. So here's the enable OCR and merge all text into merge content field. You need to click on that. and source data field is already changed to merged content, but you can go ahead and change to content. This is basically the field where the skill set is going to work. So now we need to merge the skill set to work on merge content. Next, we need to choose our text cognitive skills and image cognitive skills. So I chose everything, but I would like to comment on this translate text one. So translate text is the one that actually translates our information. Like I have Swedish information, and I want it to be available in English for search and to be available for extraction as well. But if you have another language, for example, if you want to serve your customers content in French, you can go ahead and change it to French, and it will work as well as other languages. There are 50 plus languages here. Next, we're going to go and customize target index. So these are the fields that Azure Cognitive Search understood and showed you, understood from your information, enriched information. So here we have language, for example, language here, and you have analyzer. For language, you have standard Lucene analyzer, but you can go ahead and change it to Microsoft one. And for example, if it didn't detect it right, you can go ahead always and change it to other language. There are other analyzers for you, which might work better or worse. So, but I want for language to have a field to be able to filter it out. So I'm going to go ahead and enable all this. These are filterable, sortable, and pasteable fields. And so I will have a filter in my UI, demo UI. So next we're going to create an indexer. And here you have a schedule. So if you want to run this import, right, data import once, you go ahead to choose once. But if you're going to input data every 15 minutes or every 5 minutes, you can go ahead and customize this for your liking. I'm going to go once because we are doing this for demo purposes, and submit this. As you can see, it's in progress. And now it's in success because we don't have a lot of docs here. We only have 3. Sometimes it will go and throw a warning here, but usually this is all right. If there is no fail, it's okay, because if it's warning, it's probably couldn't find a field in one of your files. So it's so you should be fine if there are no failed documents, but usually you will get success on every document. So next we'll go to indexes, and you will see your index here. Let's go to open that index. And here is basically Explorer for your data. And you can run query strings, and you can see the request URL here. This is basically the REST API Explorer. So you can do that from Postgres, for example. This is comfortable and easy to use, so I'm going to use this one. Let's search and see all our documents. With an asterisk, you will see all of your documents, as you can see here. You can see my Armenian content about Armenia, with its fields, locations. You will also see Swedish text here. And there's also text, image content here about Surface Laptop Studio and other laptops. So let's go ahead and search for Armenia, for example. So we will have a filter. We'll filter Armenian content here. And this is great because you have text about Armenia, but for example, we have famous Armenian people also extracted from here. For example, Pariur Sevak, Aram Khachatryan, Martyr Saryan, and you have famous locations or like locations here, like Armenia, Yerevan. There's a Tethev monastery here, Erebuni fortress. There are many locations shown here, and there are also key phrases shown here. For example, hot summers or rich cultural heritage. So this is important because you can search with these key phrases as well, and this document will be shown too. Now let's go ahead and search our Swedish content, which was totally in Swedish. Let me show you once again. This is the file that I uploaded, which is totally in Swedish. So I'm going to go and here search for Sweden. And when I search it, the Swedish content appears here. I didn't use any Swedish in my search query, but we have a Swedish content. So this is great because you can also go ahead and get your translated text in English and show this to your users. So basically, you don't need to spend extra money for making multiple versions of your website, multilingual versions of your website. So this is very great, very good, sorry. So there are also locations and organizations. As you can see, like Ericsson, Volvo, IKEA are shown here. So if I go ahead and search with an IKEA, I will still get content about Sweden. Next is the image search that we had. I'm just going to search for surface, and the picture will appear here with its content. So when you have a UI, like complex UI, this is very useful. Next, I will show how you can create a demo web application out of this, because sometimes you just want to give this information to a friend to play with or to a colleague, and they might not be comfortable with playing with Azure Portal. So for that, I'm going to go to my index. I'm going to go to course, and I'm going to enable the origin type to all. And I'm going to save this. This capability that I'm going to show, the demo app capability, is coming from Azure Search.js, which is available in Azure Samples GitHub repository. You can go ahead and read about it and find out more. But let's just go ahead and create a demo application from it. Create demo app. So here, you can set a thumbnail, title, and description, but I'm all right with having a JSON formatted output, so I'm not going to do this. And from a sidebar, I'm going to go ahead, it's already done, but I'm going to go ahead and search, allow a language filter, and it's going to be a checkbox type. So go ahead and create a demo app, and it's instantly a downloadable file. So let's go ahead and download it. We have a download file, and this is what you get out of the box. So with an asterisk, you can go ahead and see all the data. But if you want only Swedish content, you can just easily filter it out with one click. And this is only Swedish, 1 out of 1, with all the key phrases that I showed you before. You can, of course, go ahead and play with this individual result, like putting title or putting people or like putting language here. But the more fields you have, more you can play with this information. So this is very useful if you just want to get a hint of your data, your information, and you don't want to go ahead and make any complicated things. But if you're fancy to do something more difficult, Azure provides some more samples. For example, this one, Azure Search React template, uses Goodreads information and provides you with a nice platform, a nice template to work with. Let me show you how it looks like. So this uses Goodreads data. And for example, if you're looking for a book, it provides suggestions like, let's find this book. Yeah, it's kind of a funny story. This is a book that I was looking for, and you can go ahead and see the book here. As you can see, you get some ISBN, you can see the rating, but if you go to raw data, you can see the JSON formatted data as well, with the extra ISBN and authors and ratings, how many you have, and image URL, or if you want only image URL. So you can easily play with this. And you can, if you go to documentation here, you can see, you can easily deploy this to Azure with one click, maybe 2 clicks, because you need to set up your GitHub as well. But it is very easy to set up and customize it to your liking. If you want to go ahead and play with a REST API on your own, you can get the key values from keys here, or you can create an identity and play with it that way. So that was it for today. Thank you for joining today's coffee talk. And please don't hesitate to follow us on social media. And if you have any question, you can contact me using LinkedIn, Facebook, or other social media platforms. You can also leave your comments down, and I will go ahead and answer to them later. And have a nice day, and goodbye.